This is the Mobvoi Earbud Gesture, the latest earbuds from the makers of TicWatch. Yes, that TicWatch. Anyways, have you ever wished you were able to operate your earbuds hands-free, say if your hands are full washing dishes, carrying groceries, or handling a baby, or if you're wearing gloves outside in winter, or even indoors, whatever suits your fancy? Well, Mobvoi claims that the Earbud Gesture has that solution by leveraging your good old cranium. Yes, you heard right, your head is the solution. Are they joking or does it even work, you wonder? Well, let's find out after these messages. TLDR, this thing is actually pretty surprising. And by the way, welcome to the first episode of 2021. Happy New Year, guys. Let's do this! Well, this is it, the Mobvoi Earbuds Gesture, and this will set you back $130 and it's officially available January 11th. There's only one color available though, which is this one. I wish there were more colorways available, that would have been super nice. Now, with the batteries in these, Mobvoi says you get around 10 hours before the buds kick the bucket, but under my testing, under real world usage, I consistently got 7.5 hours instead at mid volume. The case also adds another 5 charges in case you're wondering. There's Bluetooth 5.0 on board that plays nice with SBC and AAC only. Multi-point Bluetooth connection is not present, but mono or independent mode, depending on who you talk to, is supported. The weight is a light 6 grams per earbud, while the case comes in at 43 grams. And these Mobvois are also rated at IPX5, which means they can withstand your sweaty, intense workout sessions and the occasional rinse under the faucet if necessary. Now, one of the main selling features of the Earbud Gesture, and I still think it's a weird name, is the introduction of the Tic Motion gesture controls for phone calls. And we'll look at that in a little bit more detail later on. Alright, what we have here is the recognizable and just way overused stem design at this point. The designers made things a little bit interesting, I guess, by putting some horizontal grooves on the backing right here that I wish were more frictional. They just serve absolutely no functional purpose at this point, aside from aesthetics, because this entire product is as slippery as you can see from the shiny plastics. It's just as slippery as, I don't know, a used car salesman or something. Yes, I went there. And I just can't get a grip on this, especially if my fingers are damp or sweaty in any way. It's just really slippery. Not a fan of this shiny plastics because of that, and it's just really hard to keep clean at the same time. Build quality is pretty decent. Seam lines are nice and tight and well controlled. The touch surface or touch area is right here. Thank goodness it's not the whole stem. And you control the buds through a double, triple, or hold. There's no single tap, and they're not customizable at all. There are dual mics that handle phone calls, one right here and one down below. So in the business end of things, there's a comparatively small 6mm driver. Can you believe it? 6mm driver in here trying to do all the work. Does it succeed in any way? You'll find out soon when I get into the pluses and minuses. Now, sound is channeled through this really longish audio port. Let me try to pull this out and you can see this. It's pretty long and it ends with a soft silicone ear tip. There's one extra one included in a box in case this one doesn't fit you. There's a grill covering right here for the opening, by the way, and replacing the ear tip is a matter of, it's relatively easy. It's a matter of aligning it over the lip and then pressing it in place. Not the quickest or the best quality material ear tip I've seen so far, but it's far from the worst. Alright, now let's take a closer look at the case, and as you can see, the top surface mimics the earbuds with those parallel grooves that really don't aid in grip whatsoever. But what does though is this slight little dip in the top of the lid right here, so if you're holding this in a pinch grip like so, your index finger or your thumb kind of sort of lock in place, so that's something I guess, right? Now, the build quality is pretty good. There's decent plastics, albeit pretty shiny. They do leave behind a lot of grease, and as you can see, my fingers leave behind a lot of markings, so you're gonna have to clean this quite often, and also between the grooves, they gather a lot of skin flakes and dust. But that being said, even though I say this is pretty good, has a pretty good build quality, it looks and feels more like a $50 to $70 item, not $130. By no means whatsoever. This thing feels cheap in the hand. Now, there's no creaking though when I squeeze it. The hinge is nice and strong, or even where the seams meet. Everything is nice and tight. Now, there are two LED lights at the front here where it shows you the status of either earbuds and also the USB-C charging port right here. Now, at the bottom here, I want to show you this. There's a typo actually. It's supposed to say Mobvoi App. I'm not sure if you can see that. I'll try to zoom in. But it's spelled Mbovoi. That's rather embarrassing, really. Now, when we open the lid to look inside, and by the way, the hinge is not spring-loaded or lockable in any way, so it does flop around, unfortunately. But when you open the lid, which is magnetized at the top, you see at the top as well this padding, which is really nice and thick. I don't usually see these in earbuds at all. And also, there's a lot of matte plastics on most touch surfaces, which is really nice, thank goodness. And I removed one of the earbuds so you can better see the cavity in here. It's really nice and simple, really well chamfered, really well molded, and it's deep as well. So cleaning this though is a breeze. You just stick your Q-tip straight shot down there and it's all done, because you know this black color is just going to show all your dirt really fast. Couple of charging pins here, and the magnets are in the earbuds, which we'll check out in a second. Now I want to just talk quickly about the orientation of these earbuds. I'm not a fan whenever manufacturers do this, because they want to keep things compact and keep things flat, but it's just not very ergonomic, because the left being here, you have to twist this in the horizontal and vertical axes just to get these in your ear, and you put them back is just as difficult, if not more, because your hands by then are kind of slippery. Now this would have been made easier. In this context is much harder to use because these plastics are slippery as it is, and also this ridge right here where the stem meets the case is really flush, and I really have a hard time getting a grip or purchase just to pull these out. So that's a thumbs down for that one. Now that being said, let's put these back, put this thing back in here and test out the magnets. And they both fall right out. So for what it's worth, it's a thumbs down in that case. Which brings us now to the Mobvoi app. And this thing is so bare bones, it's not even funny, guys. So I'm gonna take probably 45 seconds to a minute to go through this. But I've had a hard time connecting my earbuds to the app itself. I've rebooted the phone, rebooted the app, and nothing seems to work. And I hope this is just a firmware update. And for you guys who are gonna buy it and use it, please let me know down below if this is also happening to your unit, so we kind of sort of know if this is a problem across the board, and so Mobvoi can know about this. There's really nothing you can do. If I tap this, you can see the battery levels, ideally left and right, and there's only one thing that you can customize, which is to turn on the tick motion gesture control or head control. It's not turned on for the first time by default, which is really strange. So for us who have problems connecting to the app and cannot turn this on, you cannot activate or use the function in the first place, the main selling point. And in terms of customization, there's really nothing here you can do. There's no equalizer. You cannot customize any of these control buttons or the tap buttons on the side of the earbuds at all. All these are just what you see down here are just guides. You can tap on each one, it will show you how to use it. And that's about it. Yeah, this is how bare bones the app is. So guys, if you haven't heard already, I'm trying to get to 10,000 subs, and only you can get me there. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel by mashing and killing the button down below, and tell your friends and family about it as well. Thank you in advance for your help, guys. Now back to the program and get me to 10,000 subs. Alright guys, we're outside now doing the Bluetooth distance test for the Mobvois, and I have some Sculpted by Haywire playing on Deezer in high fidelity on my phone. And boy is it cold, it's below freezing right now, but I'm doing it for you guys. Anyways, I'm going to put the phone at the end of my deck, and we're going to see when these guys start to cut out. There it is right there, and we're going to walk this way past the back of my house to the side and see how strong the signal is from the earbuds. And by the way, here they are right here. They have this AirPod style design, so you kind of know how it fits. So these things have Bluetooth 5.0, should last around 30 to 33 feet. There's the phone again, and where I'm standing is around 25. So we're gonna cut around a corner here, and I'm not sure how cold weather is gonna affect this, like really cold like this one, but I don't think it's that much. I just got a hint of sputter, and it's right around specs, so around 32 feet, and we're doing good. And we just got a full disconnect, so it's working as it should with Bluetooth 5.0. On to the next test, guys. Okay guys, we're out here by the road testing the microphones on these for Bluetooth phone calls, and I took off my hat, changed my hat so the microphones are not covered by the ear flaps, so we can ensure that these guys are taking in the proper sound and handling noise suppression properly. So there's some wind going on as well, so as we switch between the G85 camera and these Mobvois, you can see how well these guys do with sound buffeting as well as noise suppression as traffic passes by. I'm going to try to head to the road as close as you can, as fast as you can, because traffic's kind of sparse right now because of the cold. Not many people want to be out, even though it's kind of busy, supposedly busy right now. How does that sound? These guys are okay. I heard some samples earlier, tested it earlier, and they handle it pretty well. With a name like Mobvoi, which stands for mobile voice, by the way, you think that they will handle microphone test, microphone quality good. I'd say it's not bad. The sound quality is there. There is some bass, there is some semblance of my tonality still. There is some breaking up from time to time, digitizing, but that's expected at this price range, and also with just two mics handling everything. How does that sound, guys? So anyways, performance is not bad. But in terms of you as the user, if you're using this in a quiet environment, or if you're jogging outside, these things can handle it. So if you're doing Zoom calls at home, perfectly fine. If you're outside running around, walking your dog or whatever, they can work up to a point, and your listener would not complain. Now, let's check out some of my favorite things about these Mobvois. And the first one of all is sound quality. And I have to be honest, I was initially concerned when I first saw how small the drivers were, 6mm. I was like, can these things even work? I'm not sure. But thankfully, my fears have been allayed. These things sound pretty darn good. Now, the key is though, you have to make sure that the earbuds have a good seal in your ear, because even if it's slightly loose, it's like a night and day difference. It's like a do or die. If it's loose, the sound fidelity and the sound quality just plummets like crazy. So make sure you have a tight seal and you're good to go. Now, when I use my test song, Omega Robot by Space Jesus, I know it sounds kind of made up, but it's an actual song. Use it to test out your headphones and earbuds. You'll thank me later. But this song has a strong techno bass beat or bass line that just rocks throughout the song, and these earbuds can handle it. And also throughout the song, there's like random sound bites and metallic robot sounds or clips that don't get lost in translation. They just go over each other and overlap all the time, and these earbuds pretty much handle it. The only negatives I can tell is like the overall sound is a little bit muffled, but probably because of the lack of venting ports. And secondly, is a lack of detail in the lows and the mids. And the other positive is battery life. So while this thing does not meet its claimed 10 hours of endurance capabilities, 7.5 hours actual is nothing to sneeze at, guys. I can use this all workday and still be fine. And potentially I can use this indefinitely as well if I use one earbud at a time. Think about this, if I have the case plugged in at all times to keep it charged and I use one earbud at a time and one dies, I just have to switch it out, and so potentially you could use this infinitely. That's pretty darn cool, think about that. Now, here we are at the negatives, and my first issue with this device is actually its main selling point, the tick motion gesture or head control. I feel like it's half-baked or half-realized or something, because as it is, guess what guys, you can only answer or reject phone calls, the nod to accept and turn your head to reject. Why couldn't Mobvoi expand the usage for controlling media, for example? I wish I can forward my track or change volume just by turning my head or something, but as it is, it just feels so limited. For the main selling point, I wish they had expanded it. So Mobvoi, it's not too late to change this in a firmware update or something to give us that ability. I know there can be some issues, like say if you're listening to media and you were able to control this with your head. I know some of us like to jam like this and shake our heads and probably activate a lot of functions, but let us control that. Let us have that kind of customization. That would be so nice. And the other downside though, I think there needs to be a rethink of this head gesture, because when I use this outside, my neighbors think I have Tourette's or something. Like when I do this or that all the time with my phone calls, and they think, there's Aaron again. I think he needs to go back to the asylum. And the other negative is the price. $130 for something that doesn't have basic active noise cancellation or some kind of sound customization or feature customization and has cheap plastics? Surely you jest. So here are my final thoughts, and I'm gonna go ahead and score this first, and I'm gonna give the Mobvoi Earbud Gesture a gear up score of 6.5 out of 10. This thing really excels in sound quality, battery life, and really that's about it. And it falls behind the competition in terms of sound customization, feature customization, cheap looking build, and too much emphasis on that, half-realized head gesture technology. And for $130, there's plenty of options out there. If this was like 70 or 80 bucks, I wouldn't mind recommending it, because the sound quality alone and battery life is pretty darn impressive. But for 130 bucks, plenty of other options, and it's also really close to its other stablemates like the TicBuds Pro and the TicBuds ANC. So unless you're really harping on that head gesture technology and wanting to use it, I say wait for this to go on sale, or otherwise just skip it. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode, and I hope you come back next week for a new one. And Happy New Year, by the way, 2021. I have some positive vibes about this one, so I hope you do too. Thanks also to Mobvoi for sending me this test unit, and like always, even though I was given this one to test, my thoughts and opinions reign supreme because that's important to this channel. And also remember to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. If you'd like to see more content like this, honest reviews and stuff like that, mash and kill the button down below to help me out to get me to 10,000 subs as well. So thank you in advance for your help. And by the way, guys, I have my first patron right here. This is Barbecue Jones. He visited my Patreon page and now he gets a shout out every week. And if you'd like to see your name up here, find out down here to see how that's done. And by the way, BBQ Jones has his own YouTube channel. He does serious barbecue tips and just random COVID songs as well. Pretty funny stuff. You can visit him down in the description below. And also remember the thumbs up if you like this video. That's very important, Yash. And comment nicely down below. And thumbs down. Thumbs down to Chinese owners manual translators. Yes, Chinese owner manual translators. Seems like they just use Google Translate and just be done with it. It's always, I don't know, it's crazy when you open a product and a furniture and you can never understand where it's up and where it's down, where it's left, where it's right. It's just, yeah, thumbs down to that. I just wish they used proper English translators. But actually, now that I'm talking about it, I want to give it a thumbs up because I just love a good laugh every time I break open a box and just whip open a Chinese-made product and see the manual. It just makes me laugh out loud every time. It's just a lot of fun. So thumbs up, actually, to Chinese owner manual translators. Keep doing what you do. You guys are just great comedians. But anyways, that's all I got, guys. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. Mask up, continuing to take care of each other, and do something nice and kind for somebody. The world needs it more than ever. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Peace out.